Hi, welcome to my living room. Ignore the mess on my table. This is where we keep all our mail, and this is our kitten. Isn't he cute? All right. So last semester, I was on the Sound of the South social media team, where my job was to take photos and make graphics. Here's the camera I used. It is a Canon. Pretty decent. It's been in my family for 10 years. It belonged to my dad before he let me use it for taking photos, of course. But it worked. It doesn't take videos, but it worked for what it did. I would go out and take a few photos, but I don't have access to the vet. So here is just a bit of B-roll of where I usually take photos when I do headshots for people. I do it on the main quad. When I think of Troy University, I think of this quad. Typically, I take photos around John Robert Lewis or Adams Administration. I just really like the architecture of these buildings, and they're just very, very consistent with the architecture all around campus, but these two are just my favorites to take photos in front of, and I just really like it. So with this photo I have on file, you can see the screen in the background right behind where Socks usually sits. This is bright and it makes photos a little bit harder to see. So what I do is I lower the exposure and I up the contrast. This brings out our subjects, and then I tweak the highlights. This is really about personal preference, but as you can see, our photo already looks a lot cleaner and a lot clearer. You can mess around with shadows and whites, but for me, I usually just stick to exposure and contrast. So lower your exposure, up your contrast. And depending on the lighting, you might change that and do it in different ways. Now, for color, this is more of a personal thing. I like to use the tint option, and I just barely use it. And sometimes the temperature option, this brings out more of the colors and just generally makes things pop a little bit more. My edits are very, very simple. You can hardly tell. That comes from me being a journalist, where you don't really edit photos to distort them or edit them. You just make them clearer. That's what I learned in photo editing, in my photo editing courses. But yeah, this is basically just my process behind it. So this is ready to go, and now you do it for 100 more photos. So that's all. It's not hard. It just takes a while. But yeah, that's about it. So thank you for watching.